Domoraju Gukesh. I mean, that's probably the chess event of the day. I haven't been online for a while, but I'm back now with this chess event. Again, I'm not sure I'm going to be covering the entirety of the first round today, but I'm aiming to go for like 60 minutes more or less. Again, dependable on the viewers that will join our stream as we go on with this. Okay, sound should be okay. The multi-destination should be in good order. Looks like it. And finishing now this tea. Probably gotta go and grab another cup of. That's a prophylactic thing to have. We need to have the tea at hand or the coffee. Okay. So, Magnus White. There you go. Everyone, I think, looking towards looking for the first round. What's not to like about it? Let's just mention we got the first board Eric guys here with Wei. I think second Indian player ranked as. And there we are. There we are, fellas. We're just starting now. Hikaru plays his connational Fabi Caruana and the very much expected Magnus Carlsen and Gukesh Domoraju. Gukesh, the current world chess champion, playing with the black pieces today, and Magnus with the white pieces. That is phenomenal. And where is the boys? I can't see them. They haven't moved yet. Give me half an hour now. If I can shut off the microphone if you want to communicate. D4. Okay. Okay. Back to the game. Boy, oh boy. D4, knight f6. Okay. Oh, let me cover the moves actually. I don't wanna have any master database available. I just want to think with every single move. Oh Lord, like 2 hours each. Okay, we'll see about that. Bishop f4. Okay. I guess you may be dreaming about this and this because you've got the bishop looking at the c7. Makes sense, but that's not to say Gukesh is not going to push the c6, so you ain't going to do it. You ain't going to do it. Aggressive, developing. What's not to like about this? I guess that's the idea with bishop f4 being played right now. So we can debate. If you guys think differently, just let me know. Hey, there is a draft here. Let me close the window. I apologize for this, guys. I have to... Hello, Trent. Yeah, let me close that window because it's getting really, really windy now. Weird stuff, man. I'm gonna just keep this. Okay. All right, folks. Yeah, thanks for the likes. Thanks for the subscribing and the following. Here we are now with this. Okay, you guys free to type in what do you think Gukesh is gonna choose to play. It looks to me c6 probably is the one you want to do here because you have to stop the knight moving. Well, I guess can you do a6? Asking for a friend. a6, is that playable? Just to stop knight b5? Probably it is. c6, a6, what else is here? Well, he's thinking, so you can't say the guys don't know the theory, but he's probably trying to recollect, trying to find a way that looks better for black. So we'll see about that one. Shall we gently move over to Erigaisian Wei, and then we're going to come back here to Magnus Gukesh? I guess Gukesh really, really wants and needs to prove he is amongst the best. Well, he is amongst the best. But he definitely, you know, he's playing actually the archetype of recent chess now. So he gotta beat Magnus, and Magnus has to defend the again, his almost perfect reputation as a chess player. So yeah, it is emotionally charged for sure. Quickly now, Arjun and Wei. Hey, this guy's just proceeded with a couple of trades already. Let me just see what's going on here. Takes right now, knight c6. That's a pin. Unpinning. Takes, and takes. And c4. Interesting. Knight f6. Queen attacking the c6. And stuff like this. So queen c7. And I guess, well, you start taking. Or your castle. Which one is it? One of these two. One of these two. If you take, they have to take with a pawn. They can't take with a knight, obviously, because there is a pawn on e4. They can't take with a pawn because it's pinned, again. So, but from white's point of view, you also need to pay attention to the king's safety. So, after c takes d5, I guess you want a castle short or something. It's got to be played. Let's go now, Fabi Hikaru. Hey, these guys really take their time here. So, we had the c4, the queen's gambit, right? c6. Takes and takes with a pawn. Quite symmetrical now. We're going to see knight f3. We're going to see knight c3. Exactly, that's what I want to say. We're going to see probably bishop f5, knight c6, knight f6. You're just getting the pieces out. You develop your own pieces. You have to develop. Whatever happens, you can't develop. You can't attack. There's no attacking possible otherwise. So you have to. So, oh, c5. Okay. I was expecting something like c6, which I don't think is theoretically wrong. I don't play this with black. I don't play this with white either. But I think c6 makes a lot of sense. Although it takes the black knight's developing square. So the knight can't go to c6 if c. So c5. Keeping the options on the table there. And I guess now if you go with this, we're going to have something like queen a5 check. So that's not possible now. Knight b5 no longer possible because queen a5. So a little bit sharp here. It's a sharp response. Nice one. So if pawn captures, we still might be having queen a5. If I'm seeing this one correctly, but you got to think about the frustration here that might happen on d5 to d4, right? We'll see about that. It doesn't work. So this guy takes and this guy takes. They can't push just yet. Okay, that's the safest one. e3. Bishop is free to go. Of course, you want to play bishop b5. Knight to f3. Attacking queen directly. Very aggressive. Do you play f3 here? Do you do f3 here? So f3 would be blocking the attack from the bishop, protecting the queen, and hitting the bishop yourself. f3. And you take e4, you take g4, and eventually you're going to push g4, g5. Probably. I mean, at some point. If you want, you can also go bishop b5. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. Yeah, they're going to develop knight b d7, knight b8 d7, I suspect. And then you play f3? Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, f3 seems to be quite attractive. To me, at least, just looking at the position here. I like both f3 and bishop b5. Again, I'm not playing this with white or black. But really, I think these are to be considered here. What do you think, guys? Yeah. That's how I look at this. Yeah. The Jobava London. The London Jobava. So, yeah. After today's game, I guess many people will be playing Jobava again. If Magnus plays it, of course, we have to consider ourselves playing it. Very important. Okay. Feel free to tell me if you see some other moves available for white here. I think it's a bit premature to take on c5 maybe, or maybe not the best one ever. Well, you can't take on c5 because of the queen, right? So f3, bishop b5, probably you have to do it. I don't know, do you can you play knight f3, but doesn't feel okay to putting yourself in a pin? Doesn't feel okay. Whereas f3 seems to be quite cool. We'll see about that. We're going to come back. We're going to come back and see what's the decision that Magnus takes to play here. Here he goes away e. Queen a4, queen c7. He didn't move nothing just yet. I was saying that probably this one would be moved to play here. Or maybe you want a castle. One of these two. But I think you want to take first, right? You want to take first. Black's going to take with e. And then you're going to castle. Yeah, there you go. I said about this move some minutes ago. Makes sense. Actually, like 8 minutes ago, I said I would play c takes d5. So this pawn is pinned. Knight can't take because there is a pawn here. So that can't be played. The only playable would be if you want to take back with black to play e6 captures d5. So this one is doable. And after this one, well, we have to explore a bit. Perhaps castling would be a very good idea. Then you get quickly a rook. And we'll see. Makes sense. I will play this. About this one. Board number 1. Board number 2. Hikaru, of course, he only spent less than a minute. And Fabi, 10 minutes already. Oh boy. Yeah. Okay. a6. There is no knight or bishop coming on b5. Not possible. But we're going to have knight f3. Oh, that's going to happen. There you go, knight f3. It has to happen. And now I guess black has to also think about how to develop your bishop. And the other bishop, where does it go? Does it go f5? Does it go g4? I think they're both playable. I think they're both playable. Or maybe e6. So let me just highlight. Probably e6. Bishop f5, I think, is a normal one. It's a good one. Bishop f5. There's nothing wrong with this. Cutting through all the light squares here. Bishop g5. Making a pin. Never a bad idea to make a pin. I don't think that's a bad idea. It cannot be a bad idea. But when you move the bishop, you have to look into queen b3, I guess. Attacking b. So how are you going to defend against that one, I wonder? Do you know? So bishop to f5 or bishop to g. Okay, if bishop to g and queen b3, I guess black takes. Then white takes with this one. You don't even have to bother. So that's a thing. That's a thing. The more I look at it, the more I feel like bishop f5 or g4 maybe not necessary now. But he did do the pin. He did do the pin. I did say that it feels incredibly normal to play bishop g4 pinning. Now, what do you think, my dear, about queen b3? What do you think about this one? Yeah, bishop takes f3. I don't say no, of course. Bishop takes on f3. But bishop takes f3, g takes f3. You're going to play like this. You're going to play like this. Bishop to d3. Eventually, bishop to e2. You're not even castling or something. Maybe bishop d3, king e2, and get the rook on the g. Attack on the g file, perhaps. So that might be an idea. So if I were Fabi, I would seriously explore queen b3 ideas. No, he goes h3, challenging the bishop. Okay, if they take, I think, of course, you take back with a queen, right? If bishop takes, queen takes, right? You keep your pawns nice and cool, so... Or maybe if you really want to play a bit more aggressively, maybe g takes f3. So you get yourself a rook on the g file and stuff. Maybe. We'll see about that. Shall we go to Magnus and Gukesh? Let's see what the guys do here. Magnus didn't move nothing. Nothing. Did he fall asleep or something? You never know. Maybe fall asleep. Bishop g4. My first instinct would be, and not just instinct, but it looks very attractive, the f3 idea. You win a tempo. You win a tempo. But yeah, okay, you take the knight's natural developing square. Other than that, what? Bishop e2? I guess you can. I guess you can bishop e2, but then bishop takes, knight takes. There's nothing wrong. So what's the most aggressive choice here? The most aggressive looks like f3 is. f3. You attack with tempo. Bishop can go h5 or f5. Bishop e2. Very solid. A very solid bishop e2. You attacking g4 twice with the battery, bishop and the queen. So bishop takes, and now you're going to take knight takes e2, right? Unless you want to take with the queen and then knight f3. Which way you want to go? Which way you want to go? Queen e2 feels also interestingly attractive because maybe you dream about playing queen b5. You know, attack the king, attack b7, you never know. So it's an idea. It's an idea you take with queen takes e2 and you want to play queen b5 check and attack b7. It's an idea. And the knight plays more aggressively on f3. I don't think that's anything wrong with that. Yeah, right? Unless again, I don't know what Magnus thinks about this one. He didn't play fast the previous move. It's worth saying to all of our friends if they joined us a bit late. He didn't play fast. The bishop e2 move. I think he spent a good 8 minutes before. And now he's still thinking. So I think it's very illustrative that even the best of the best doesn't rush in these moments where is actually the opening stage of the game. The Jobava London in the opening. You know, you would say the first 15 moves they just go like that. So there is, hello Fibonacci, I think queen e2 seems to be very, very attractive idea. I don't think it's wrong. Queen e2. Knight takes e2. Knight g1 takes e2. I don't think that's wrong either. I don't consider knight c3 takes c2. I don't think that's any good. I don't think you do that. But then, hey, maybe there is a crazy stuff here. Or maybe he wants to play something unexpected, but just a little bit too unexpected. You normally want to get your pieces off the back rank, so queen e2 makes sense to me. Great sense. Queen e2, queen e2, knight g1 e2. There is no other option here. You have to take the bishop. You must take the bishop. Okay, cool one. That is board number 3 of the Norway chess. I'm going to go board number 1, and then I'm going to be looking at the moves that they played. I'm going to be reverting back to Gukesh and Magnus Carlsen, which I think is the main attraction of the day. The main attraction for sure. So let's go to Erigaisi Wei here. So, what have we gotten? Well, I did say about this move, takes and takes. And I did say about castling. I mentioned exactly this sequence. Very important, getting also the rook in action. Bishop e7, you can't leave the king on the e file. You can't stay with the king there. So bishop e7, because black wants to castle as well. What do you play with white? Well. Let's think about this one. Well, you could play rook fe1. That's never a bad idea. Rook fe1 on a semi-open file that will be open for sure. That's never a bad idea. Another thought. What do you think about pushing this guy now? Do you know what's the reason for this? I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking. When we push this stuff, we frustrate the black knight. The queen can't take. It just can't take because we got queen capture c6 with check and forking. So that's going to be a problem for black. Therefore, e5. That's what I'm thinking now, purely spontaneously and right at this moment, because I don't do this with white or black. So I'm not a d4 player very much, but just I'm trying to use my common sense and understanding. So is it something wrong with e5 attacking the black knight? It's an attacking move. I'm just thinking about this. Where do they go? They might go knight d7. Then can you take it a step forward and push the pawn one more time? Forcing them sort of to take? Or maybe it's a bit too much though. Now, Super Grandmaster like Wei E will take his time and think about this one, including pawn forwards. If you really don't want to get into this kind of stuff now, just play Rook Fe1. You can't be wrong. You can never be wrong with Rook Fe1. That's that kind of forever good move. So unless you're getting checkmated in a move or there is a blunder or something that you got to stop, Rook Fe1 is eternally a good move to play, if I may say that. Hey, Michael, I've just read your question now. Apologies for answering late. I just didn't see the question because the chat is not unified. So the blunder preventer that I've used a couple of days before, it is from an app called Aim Chess, which was at some point independent. I think it was a company of Magnus Carlsen personally, and it's been bought by the biggest corporation, which is chess.com. So they bought it from Magnus, and they bought Magnus too, I think, or something, I don't know. But they bought it from Magnus, that's for sure. So, yes, Aim Chess. It's a very cool app. You could definitely use it. There are many. It's Chess Tempo, it's Aim Chess, it's ChessBase, it's leechess.org. We're having it right now on our screens. There's quite a few now. But yeah, Aim Chess is good. Of course it's good. It really is. No doubt about it. You got some minimal usage of the app without paying, but you have a limitation of like 5 exercises a day, something like that, on Aim Chess. And they also provide some insights into your games on both leechess and chess.com. So they will give you some stats. Once you sign in on Aim Chess with your username on leechess or chess.com, they will give you stats. Which, by the way, stats, you can get them on leechess for free. Just in between ourselves. So, yeah, if you're passionate about studying your own statistics, you can go for Aim Chess. Michael, I hope that answered the question. Right. Fabian, sorry fellas, h6 attacking the bishop on g5, bishop h4. You don't want to trade if you don't have to. You don't want to trade if you don't have to. So why do trade? Just play bishop h4. You maintain the tension. Okay stuff. Let's go. Gukesh and Magnus. Boy, oh boy. What did Magnus did? I said something here. You guys remember after bishop takes e2. I gave 2 possible continuation for white to be considered. I said queen takes e2, and I said knight g1 takes on e2. And I also said knight c3 takes on e2. It's a bit very unorthodox, and you play it if you really want to surprise the other guy a little bit. And Magnus played knight c3 on e2. He moved twice the same piece in the opening. I guess he wants to play this one from a purely psychological intention. Yeah, of course, if pawn takes, probably what? You're going to take back with a pawn or you're going to take back with a knight? Hard to say what Magnus thinks at this stage. I guess knight f3 is coming? I don't know what to say. It's a move that I'm not incredibly excited about. But then, hey, I'm not Magnus. But definitely queen takes e2 or knight takes e2. Knight c3 takes e2. It's a bit weird. Unexpected. I did mention it, though. I did mention it. But again, it's a bit strange. It's a bit strange. But I think Magnus can afford the luxury to playing strangely, right? The things are under control now. So knight c6 from Gukesh, developing, Knight f3, there you go. Knight f3, exactly as I said. e6. And hell, what's white gonna do? Castle? Maybe. What else do you do here? Do you do c4 just to make it funky? What else do you do? I mean, if you're looking at aggressive stuff, c3, c3 is not aggressive. It's a move, not a blunder, but it ain't aggressive or anything. h4, I'm asking for a friend. c3 he went. I did mention c3. That makes space for the queen, by the way. If you guys wonder what the heck is with the c3 move, the c3 move reinforces the d4 pawn a little bit more and allows the queen circulation, probably queen to a4 or something. It looks okay to me. Queen to a4. Always a good move. Always a good move. Queen a4, queen b3. I think you can think about these two. Queen a4, queen b3. Queen b3 attacks b7. And also this bishop here is quite, oopsie daisy, is quite, the bishop on f4 is quite active, quite aggressive. So you could expect from black, maybe now, you can definitely expect from black some knight h5. I'm telling you that. Knight h5 from Gukesh is a move that eliminates a very dangerous and aggressive bishop. The bishop on f4 is a headache. If you want to counteract that bishop, apart from knight h5, which would be moving twice the same piece in the opening, black has also got available bishop d6 if you want to put a stop to that guy. But no, not Erigaisi, apologies. Gukesh plays bishop e7. He wants castle short, I guess. And now what's White going to do? I don't know. He going to castle probably? Oopsie daisy, no, that didn't happen. That didn't happen, folks. That was a mouse slip. A mouse slip. So, castle short? Makes sense, castle short. Not aggressive, but it's a sensible move. Puts the king to safety. You take it from there. Castle short, queen a5, queen b3. What else is here? This, it's not very. I'm not very certain about this one. Knight e5 white. Take on c6 and give them double pawn. Okay, you can consider that one as well. So okay, so these are the ideas. Castle short would be my first choice here, just to make it. So castle short would be my first choice. Then perhaps queen b3 or queen a4. But these are the main three ideas. If you want a fourth idea, also a very normal move, rook a c1. You can't go wrong with that move either. Rook a c1 is that stuff you can't go wrong unless he's planning some other breakthrough and then to play just rook a b1 but that's just very weird. So you either play rook a c1 or you don't play that rook now, if that's what you want to do anyway. So we'll take it from here. Yeah, thanks for the like, thanks for the follow or subscribe, fellas. Don't be shy about this one. If you can, please do. Follow, like, subscribe, etc. So that's Magnus Gukesh. The most important chess event of the day, the most important game of the day. Everyone wants to see Magnus playing the current chess World Chess Champion. Ta-dun, ta-dun. Thank you, Mr. Corradi, for liking the stream. Appreciate. Thank you very much, brother. Okay. Castle short. Okay, we'll see about that. We're going to come back. It's Magnus' turn. I'm going to leave the red paint on the screen. And if there's any modification, that's a mouse slip, by the way. Bishop d6. It was just an old arrow, which is very painful when you play actually online and you're making a mistake and you do the mouse slip. You actually, oh my God, you bang in your head, you know. Jesus. Yes. That's plenty of time for them to think. Arjun Way E. I like this one. Hell, okay. I like them all three life boards are almost miraculous. So bishop e7, b3, obviously you want to do the fianchetto. Everyone knows this, right? Castle short, bishop b2. You keep an eye on this guy here. So the bishop can't play stuff. Oh, I mean, you can, but, you know, it's getting funny. It's good to have bishop e2. But let me tell you something. I think way e currently, I mean, I'm seeing the white setup here as more dangerous and versatile than black's. It doesn't mean black's losing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Arjun is going to lose this game. But I'm just feeling that white is a bit more happier and more attacking initiative because of the bishop primarily. So that's one element. If you're asking why am I biased towards considering white more beneficial here, is because the bishop. So I hope that's not too much of a bias. So bishop on b2 is a killer. That guy on b2 is actually a killer. One. Secondly, the c6 weakness for black, which is this guy here. That's a problem for black as well. And if you want to throw in rook a c1, black is having an issue. And the black wing doesn't sit well here on c7 because of the rook a c1, if you want to look at this. So that's important. It's important, this one. So these are the reasons for me leaning towards the white pieces here. So I think way E is a bit more confident. And I like the whites a bit more than blacks. So for these reasons, very important stuff though. And those two black pawns, they are seriously undermined because there's the pawn on e4 that's stacking the d5, and e4 is defended twice by the knight and by the queen. So if they take, you can take, knight takes, queen takes, and I think white is doing very well, like incredibly well. I'd rather have whites. I don't know what the engine would say about the current position estimation, but I think it's a little bit of a plus. I don't know how big of a plus that is, but it's a bit of a plus here for white, my dear friends. That's how I look at it. Yes. Hello, jackets. Yeah, it's going. It's going. I think this is the most honest answer, Jack. The most honest answer would be is just going. It's functioning for the time being. It's functioning until it's not. But for the time being, it's functioning. So that's that. And thanks for stopping by. Thanks for saying hello. Appreciate your visits and cool stuff. How is you, my friend? How is yourself? So that's Erigaisi way, and I think white is more optimistic due to the ideas I've highlighted already. Oh, this is great, man. Jack, this is absolutely great. I don't think I would have started the live stream if it wasn't for Norway just now. Actually, let me be even more honest. I don't think I would have started any live stream today if it wasn't Magnus playing Gukesh. So if you really, if I'm really very open, precisely because Magnus plays Gukesh, I decided to put the camera on. I wouldn't have done it otherwise, I think. I don't think I would have. But because of that one. And because it's it's the best chess that you could see at the minute. And that's that. Cool thing. We're going to be back here. I've got a feeling that white is better in the current position here. Let's see Fabi Naka here. Fabi. Okay, bishop g3. Again, you don't trade if you don't have to. So bishop g3, cutting. Nicely, you can't do any rook, any nothing. Bishop d6, you always want to not allow that bishop to take so many dark squares. So bishop d6. Now, what is Fabi going to play? I don't know. Or you can't break through because the d4 is hanging. Do you do a3, which is practically like a little bit of a lazy move, but what do you do? Really, what do you do? There is also another idea, if I may. What about bishop b1? It's not very creative, I apologize. It's not a very creative idea, but I think it's a good one. So you're going to drop bishop d3 to b1. if you're white here. Okay, so bishop d3 to b1. Maybe you're gonna trade the bishop, maybe not. Maybe you could play some, like a very quick checkmate, so you can checkmate Nakamura just in like 2-3 moves. I'm Mr. Thakura Vibishan, exactly because these guys are playing, I'll put a camera on. This is the reason for me being live now. Always, Jack, rook f to e1 is one of those moves you can't go wrong with. And I've said it in the past minutes. The moves like rook fe are rarely bad moves. So these moves are eternally good. When you get your rook on a semi-open file or an open file or a file that's about to get open, you can't go wrong. That's where the rook belongs, actually. So yeah, I don't think it's a wrong idea. But maybe rook fd1 in the light of bishop d3, maybe you want to break through somehow. It's not very clear. It's still building up now. I'm not completely certain about this. But yeah, rook fe, rook fd, I think is good stuff to do. Each to some other purposes, whether D or E. And now back to Magnus and Gukesh. The main reason I put the camera on today. The main reason. Why to play? Why to play? I think I said something about castling short. Yeah, I said something about rook ac. I said something about castle short the king. Do you think h4 is just a bit too much? I mean, can one confidently push h4? I mean, you can push h4, but not confidently. Can you do this confidently? I mean, if you really want to attack something or to play in the spirit of attacking, I think h2 to h4 is an option if you really want to be aggressive kind of player. And if you want to teach the current world chess champion a lesson. I guess Magnus wants to teach him a lesson, I think. Or 2 or 3. I'm not sure. I think Magnus wants to teach everybody a lesson because he can. Yeah, Jack, I got to tell you something. I don't think the engine is so ecstatic about a move like h4. I agree. For Magnus, and because he's playing a human, maybe h4 can be considered from psychological point of view. But I don't think the engine is very thrilled about this. Because you sort of give away the g4. Just an idea. For instance, just a random, I mean, not a random idea. It's just an idea. So yeah, the Dirty Harry, definitely an option. Dirty Harry because h4, h5. And h6. I mean, just make it clear. You don't play h4 to stop. You play h4 to go forward and forwards and forwards. So you ain't gonna stopping until you reaching h6. It's worth mentioning, my dearest, but that there is no light square black bishop that could frustrate your king. So you could go king f1 if there's any issue or something. So there is no light square black bishop that we have to worry about. That's another element. So you can, definitely you can. So the red paint shows what I think are the candidate moves for Magnus likely to play. I don't know what the engine thinks. That's just the Grandmaster that presents on other platforms. They use the engine when they do the live presentation. It's not for me. The engine is not for me. Not now. Jack, that's definitely something that makes black to think. If you go with h4, it's a double-edged sword, and I think it's just risky business, but how are you supposed to play aggressive chess? Now, I don't think Magnus... I mean, he wants to win, right? But he doesn't want to play crazy stuff unnecessarily. But h4 is probably a move. No, he played queen e2. I said at some point, some 4 or 5 moves ago, I said about queen e2, to do some stuff like queen b5 and things. So, yeah. Okay. Queen e2 means other things too. I think first thing first, it means queen b5. Then maybe just a bit of a waiting move, seeing how black wants to play here. I'm not sure. Maybe. It's not very clear. Queen e2 is not a bad move. You get the queen off the back rank. You could do castling both ways. Hell, I don't know, but definitely you can play castling both ways. Castling long doesn't feel okay. I don't think you castle long here, right? I think you're not crazy to castle long. Looks to me you can play king f1 and then go with the h. We'll see about that. We'll live and we'll see. I don't think castle long is that great though. I think it's playable, but after black takes, actually they're going to be getting some rooks here. I don't know. Do you like this? Well, when you're playing Magnus, that's an event in itself. It's the event of your life as a chess player. So let's just put it this way. You playing Magnus is the best stuff in your life as a chess player. I mean, he's already achieved enormously. I mean, Gukesh for a young lad of 17, 18 years old. How old is he? Yeah, I don't think you need to contribute to Penny because they already get very fat checks, Mr. Coredi. These guys get very fat checks, so you don't need to worry about that. You don't need to worry about. There's other things in the world to worry about, not about their checks. We're just enjoying watching them playing, and that's that. Yeah. So Queen e2 is like a developing move. You one step. You can castle anytime, any way you want. You just don't tell your opponent where exactly you're going to castle or if you're going to castle. He may not castle at all. Just saying, he may not castle at all. I think it's good for black. Taking here, I think it's good for black. You activating the bishop and you're opening up the c for the rook, Jack. You asked me, I answered. I think, in a very human understanding, my understanding would be that if black takes, it's good for them because rook c and because this guy gets more active. Makes a lot of sense to me. A lot of sense. And there's another thing. You don't really care about white queen going to b5 and taking on b7 because I think this is a very poisonous pawn, Jack. So queen b5 and then rook b8, I think it's a very big problem for white. I seriously doubt white is going to take that b7 pawn anytime soon, even if they could. That's a poisonous pawn. You're not going to take it. No, of course not. This guy is a bit annoying. The bishop on f4 for black, which makes me think probably Gukesh thinks about doing some bishop d6. I think he wants to do some bishop d6 to counteract that guy. I would definitely consider that one because I can't tolerate that bishop for too long. It's a bit annoying. On the other hand, they're going to be playing this, pinning. Then hell, you're going to go bishop e7 and Magnus wants to do threefold repetition. Go for it. Drawing against Magnus, probably not that bad. Probably not that bad. So, we'll see about this one, my friends. We'll see about this one. We're going to come back. Eric, I see way E. What's happening here? Bishop e2. Okay. Rook fd8. Yeah, of course, one of the moves is never wrong. But of course, after this guy takes, the knight is directly being hit. But you're going to take back with the knight anyway on e4. So that's not a problem. But you want to activate your rooks anyway. Of course you would. Of course you would. I mean, you play chess to kind of win. And when you are world chess champion, you definitely play to win. Against whoever the hell they are. Magnus or not Magnus. Why would you play chess at this high level? At the highest level, why would you play chess with other purpose than just to win? If you can. If you can. If the position is more favorable, of course. So, rook fd8, it's one of those moves. And I guess rook a will go c. in the future. But yes, we're going to see rook AC and we're going to see rook FD. I still think white may be a bit more happier. Just a bit more optimistic for white here. I'd rather have whites than blacks here. C6 is a weakness. And this bishop is way more tough than the knight or the other black bishop. So that's a problem for black to sort out. I don't know how they're going to solve it. I don't know. That's up to them. We'll see about that. So let's see Fabi Hikaru here. Knight A4. What is that? Bishop G3. Bishop D6. I said that. Knight A. Because of this. If they take, fine. I'm very happy. Yes, knight A4 because you want to go C5. That's exactly right. You can't play B6 because this guy's hanging. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the like and subscribe, my friends. Whatever the platform you're visiting on. Greatly appreciate if you can. So yes, indeed. Nice one. Knight because knight C5. It is strong, Jack. It's really strong. It's really strong. It's definitely a cause for concern for black here. Definitely. Knight A4 wants to go knight C5. So bishop takes now. He eliminated the bishop. The question is, what do you take back with? Probably queen? Yeah, he took with a queen, of course. You want to preserve the pawn structure. So queen takes G3. There's nothing wrong with this. Nothing wrong with this. Do we do, just asking, do you do B5 here? No, you can't. Or maybe you can. I don't know. He developed, though, knight from the back rank into action. Great move by Naka. And you have quite flexible stuff for this knight on D6. You see, because you got a couple of squares you may be going to. There might be one, two, you never know. Maybe those two. You keep an eye on C4 as well. You're defending a bit B7. Well, no one attacks it, but anyway. Definitely. Totally. Knight E6. We'll see where the wind takes you. And that's good. And back to Magnus and Gukesh, fellas. So Queen E2, H6 by Gukesh. H6. He played H6. So there is no knight or bishop being played. Do you know what that makes me think? I think Gukesh wants to play now bishop D6. So you won't be able to go bishop G5 to pin or stuff. So bishop D6 will definitely get rid of the bishop. Right? So bishop D6 will exchange that bishop in one way or another. If white takes, of course, you take back with a queen. And you connected the two black rooks. You're going to get rook AB, rook FC or something. And that's that. But after that, bishop gets traded. I'm not sure if white now has any success in pushing H4. It doesn't feel okay. It doesn't. I don't know what Magnus is going to play. I'll tell you something. I don't know. It makes a lot of sense to play castle short here. So you're playing white. It makes a lot of sense, castle short. A lot. Can you do knight E5? I guess you can. I guess you can. Of course you can. So that's another idea. So I'm looking at castle short and I'm looking at knight E5. So we'll see which one is going to be favored by the best chess player. Knight E5 or castle short. And yes, the forever rook AC. Yeah, rook AC1. I don't think that's wrong or it's a bad choice. I don't think it's a bad choice at all. In the light of black capturing, and you take back and you have the C file at least. It's an idea. So rook A1, C1 is a forever good move to play. If there's nothing else more urgent. If there's nothing urgent now, you could go probably rook ac1. If he castles, it's good. If you do knight a5, it's interesting. Probably you make black taking on e5 and then you take back with the knight, with the bishop. Sorry. So that's that. I like these ideas. With the red, I think it's the most likely to be played. Rook ac1, it's a third option, but I mean, for me, I'm talking about the best moves according to my understanding and what I think I would do. Castle short, knight a5, rook ac1, definitely. Definitely. What else it's here? You guys tell me. If you think you've seen something else, you let me know. If there's anything else. Cool. Eric, I see way E. What is going on here? Bishop b2, rook fd8, of course. He didn't move nothing. Wait, he didn't play nothing just yet. I think we did say this, this. They're all good. I think one of these two. Do you think perhaps pushing, but just feels a bit weird, I guess. I'm not sure about e5 now. It's interesting, but I don't know what to say. It's complicated. It's interesting, but probably not now. Probably not now. I would definitely go for rook ac1. That would be my first option here if I was white. I think rook a to c1 makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense to me. The other one too, rook fd1, but rook ac1 in particular. And I also think it's the most aggressive move because you're actually attacking c6. So that is something. You make a very attacking move. So if you want to attack, you go rook ac1. If you want to attack. If you want to postpone it, if you want to delay it, if you want to do funny stuff, just take your time. I don't know. Do some other things. But yeah, rook ac1. That's what I would play with white here. Fabi Naka. Knight e6. Knight c5, of course. Rook ac8. That move that we always want to play. You know, rook ac8. On an open file. And that's this. And now I don't know what Fabi plays. A3, just to not allowing this stuff to happen. I don't know. Smells of a draw. It looks like a draw. I'm not sure, but that kind of like looks like a draw. It may be or not. We'll see. There's still, heck, 1 hour 18 minutes for Fabi and 1 hour 49 minutes for Naka. So he's gonna go home, cook a soup, eat the soup, eat dessert, come back, and the game is still on. So that's okay. Plenty of time, I guess. Magnus Gukesh here. H6. And Magnus didn't play a damn thing. He's a bit lower on time than Gukesh. He takes more time to think. It's still a lot of time anyway. Castling long here doesn't feel okay. I'm seeing some chatting guys on the platform saying something about castle long, but that doesn't feel okay, castle long. I don't know what the engine would say. The engine can say very many things, which are 99% always true. But for a human, castling long does not feel okay. If you castle long, you have to waste another tempo getting the king on the b file. Then queen comes b6 potentially. b5 is going to be pushed. Maybe queen a5. It's you putting your king exactly where you don't want to. So it looks castling long is just crazy. It's crazy in a bad sense. There's crazy in chess in a good way, and there's crazy in chess in a bad way. And feels like castle long is crazy in a bad way. I don't see the benefits. I don't see any pros for castle long for white. Castle short, yeah. Totally. I'm probably going to be a draw. I don't see any critical points. I don't see any fire left on the board. I'm not sure. And it's a lot of time available. Probably a draw. Unless Magnus going to come up with some very weird choices that will complicate furthermore. But I don't see what. Black seems to be very solid here now. And because of bishop d6 and stuff, it feels incredibly solid for black. I'm not sure what you could do here, where you can go, what do you want to attack. It's not clear. Maybe to take, then bishop takes, then you play knight and things. But this guy's here, doesn't feel okay at all. Maybe you take, they take, then it's complicated. Then can you push? It might be something. Well, you can't play all the moves at once. You gotta take it one by one, right? So, we'll see about this. Yeah, that would be something already. You know, that is cool because those guys that actually have access to interviewing Magnus after the game, it's very cool to asking him, and I guess they already got the questions. Yeah, I would love to asking him at this move. What move? Move number is this? Move number 10. I'd love to ask Magnus after h6. What was his plan? I'd love to ask him. I'd love to know what he's thinking. I really love to. I'd love to know that. But I guess the reporters from chess.com or leechess.org or whoever the hell has access to asking him questions, they already prepared some questions for him. So yeah. Again, castle long is just absolutely crazy. No, it's suicidal, I think. I don't think you're gonna castle long, fellas. And he's still a human after all. So you're still limited in your options. And the game itself limits you. You can't just play anything. You still have to go for normal good moves. You can't play just anything. Rook a d1, okay. Knight a5. Rook ac, rook d, castle short, this kind of things. This kind of things. Yep. And we'll see, we'll come back. Eric guys see way here. Hey, rook ac1, look at that one. I did say rook ac1. I did say. You guys remember, probably those of you that were here, that I said if you want to play an attacking move, you have to go rook ac1. And I said this one like 10 minutes ago. Because rook ac1 is the most attacking aggressive move. So they might be super grandmasters, but we more than able to identify the weaknesses in a position and propose the best moves in a scenario without any freaking engine. So rook ac1 is the attacking move because of the c6. That forces black to defend. I don't know how yet, but that forces them to defend. You can't ignore it. You can't say, I don't care. So black can't just ignore the move. They need to do something. They need to do something. If that is rook ac8, if that is c5, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. But it's got to be done something here. I don't know what. c5, but I don't know what to say. I'm leaning towards rook ac8 maybe. Rook ac8. I mean, what else? I still like more whites here. I'd rather be way E here than Erigaisi in this position. I don't want to play with the blacks here because I got too many weaknesses. Too many weaknesses being c6, and the bishop on b2 is too strong. That guy is too strong. Way too strong. Crazy strong. And look at this, man. Arjun goes Queen f4, which attacks the knight. Man, I love this, guys. It's phenomenal. It attacks the knight. You don't have to move the knight, though, because you're losing e4, which black already attacks like billion times, which is like 3 times. But you could definitely go for some rook d, rook fd. Then you gotta factor in this kind of stuff. Complicated. Then you could play hell, knight f3, and that's already getting into the chess complications. Inherent chess complications. Every single game at this level is super complicated. Yeah, it just makes sense already. I'm pretty sure you guys thought about the same stuff. I'm pretty sure they thought about the same stuff. They are humans, they think like us. We think like them. Just that at some points, they might have better nerves, more concentration, more focus. And yeah, well, we're not equal in the mental capabilities. We are not all equal. If we were, everyone would be a Magnus Carlsen. But we are not, are we? So we're not all equal in this mental thing. We're not. Queen f4 attacks the knight. And I feel like rook fd1, but I don't know what to say. I need to spend more time thinking about this. Rook fd1, maybe. Other choice, I don't know. I don't know. It feels very off to get rook cd now. I mean, you already play rook ac. You don't want to play rook cd now. Although, maybe it's the best move. But then again, I don't know. Rook fd1 could be. But then you gotta have a plan against this. Going after f2. What do you play after this? I mean, honestly, what do you play after this? So that's thing. Could you take first the knight? Should you take first the knight? Then bishop takes. Then you play rook fd. Could you? Maybe. Should you play queen d4? I mean, just thinking out loud, if you're wondering what am I talking about. Queen d4 defends the knight, but also makes a battery here. But is this the best move? Again, I don't know. It might be c5 coming. Yeah, and then you're going to play what? Queen to e3? Then the guy takes you take, but is this looking good to you? Very difficult to say. And time consuming as well, because now you got to sit down and think. Think for a while. It's not very obvious. It's not obvious at all. It ain't. Okay. Hikaru Fabi. I did say e3. That's that move that stops any knight. You could, play then bishop b1. What? Then I don't know. If you manage to get the queen on the light squares, you may have a checkmate threat. But the bishop b1, I think it's perfectly well. Is absolutely great. Bishop b1, then maybe you play knight d3 and then knight e5. Just saying. Maybe. Okay, so bishop b1 totally makes sense. Rook f, what? Rook fd? Of course, rook fd. Sure. Rook fd. Oh yeah, sure. Jack, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, bishop b1, rook fd1 makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. I like it. He played rook ad1, which I think I randomly mention it because the reason for this is because after this guy takes, after d takes c, in principle you want to break through with this. Rook ad1 is in preparation of e3 to e4. I'm not sure if you take on c5 or not first. You may take. I'm not sure. But definitely rook ad1, it's because white wants to make a breakthrough in the middle with e3, e4. That's exactly the most important thing for white here. That's why he played it. If you guys think there is something else, tell me. But I don't think it ain't anything else. It's about playing e4. If before DC or after DC, I don't know. You are cool for now with not castling the king. He actually... So Jack, he gave up on the castling to win a tempo on attacking in the center. You know? He played rook a d1 in order to prepare an attacking move. And he realized the king is not in danger of getting checked or anything. He's nice and cool. He wanted to invest in an attacking plan. And that's the attacking plan. If there's anything, this is the attacking plan for white now. So I'm calling it now, before it actually comes into reality, is e3, e4. Before or after d4 takes c5, I'm not sure. But definitely that's the thing. And long term, maybe some queen here together with the bishop sacking on h6. Long term, hell, I don't know when and how. But it's good to keep the things in motion and open. Just saying. Just saying. You have to consider everything. But let's leave the red paint for the most important idea, which I think is e3, e4. Absolutely e3, e4. I'm not sure he even going to castle. I don't know if he's going to castle or not. I don't know. It looks like he can do without. He can do king f1 because, again, there is no light square bishop anywhere. If there was a light square black bishop, you can't do this crazy stuff. But if it ain't, yeah, hell, leave the king there. If there's any checks incoming, you're going to go king f1, right? What can I say? But this is the attacking thing you want to do. If you think it's not e4, I'm open to hear your thoughts, guys. If you think it's wrong. Yeah, but the H file is blocked for the time being, Jack. I'm not sure when it's going to get open. The H, I mean. How do you open up the H file? I'm all ears. How do you open up the H file? So he gonna castle when he will be forced to castle. I don't think he gonna push the H because I don't see why you're gonna play H4. Now probably you wanna go H3, so you stop the knight coming to G4 and things. I'd rather focus on E3, E4. That's more important. This is the important stuff. Yeah, possible. Let's see how black responds though. I'm not sure what Gukish is gonna play. So I've highlighted the move that I think it's likely Magnus's plan. Short-term, medium-term plan. This is the breakthrough. This is it, I think. But now we need to see what Gukish replies. I don't know what black plays here. So I don't know what they're going to do. Is he going to do a queen move? I don't know. Is he going to do queen a5? And I'm going to tell you why. You think you're going to take on e4? Maybe. Given the fact that white wants to play e3, e4, which I think is obvious. Can we imagine that actually black queen want to move away? You don't want to stay on the d file. You want to go on the a file now. Move the queen away from the rook and keep an eye on a2, whatever that means. Just saying. Do you think that's playable? And also stops any queen b5 incursion if that were to be. So it's no more possible. After queen a5, you can't do queen b5 if you wanted to do that. Just saying. Maybe. I don't know what's black's best idea here. Maybe rook ac8. Maybe bishop d6. So let me erase all the paint. This one is the main idea for Magnus. And for black, maybe bishop d6. You know why? I think it's important that bishop on f4 no longer exists. That guy has to go. This bishop probably has to go because this bishop is dangerous. Gets everything on the left hand side. Queen a5 is my first, probably, maybe first, second. I'll tell you something else. The bishop on f4 annoys me very much. If I were Gukesh here, and if I'm looking at that bishop on f4, I'm not feeling okay. That bishop has to disappear. At least you need to try to make it gone. I don't know how. Bishop d6 maybe? You have to get rid of that bishop. If you don't get rid of that bishop, it's going to be a problem. How do you even challenge this bishop? It's a problem for black. You can't naturally play rook b8 and stuff. You can't play rook b8. You can't play queen c7. You can't. So how do you get rid of the bishop? You have to challenge it with bishop d6. Bishop d6 and whatever. They take, you take. And that's that. You take. So for Gukesh now, I'm thinking bishop d6 or queen a5. What else is here? Rook ac8, maybe. Rook fe8, maybe. Yeah, I don't think these are wrong. That's not wrong. That's not a. I don't think it's a blunder. Bishop d6 is not a blunder. Queen a5, interesting. Stops queen b5 and stuff. Rook ac8, I don't think that's a blunder. I don't think that's wrong. Rook fe8, I don't think that's wrong either. I'm not looking at queen d7. It doesn't feel okay, queen d7, because this kind of stuff just doesn't feel okay. It doesn't look okay, queen d7. So just the red paint, I think it's important for black to consider now. And we're going to see if that's true or not. In order of the priority, Corredi, in terms of priority, what's most important? Queen a5, you go away from the d file, and bishop d6, you oppose the bishop on f4. So maybe in terms of that. Okay. Yeah. Right. Right. Okay, queen a5, bishop d6. That's what I think. I might need guys to go over to the mobile live stream because there might be some stuff going on in the room. So I gotta go to a mobile live stream, I think, by the looks of it. Yeah, these are probably very sensible and normal stuff to do for black. Bishop d6, my first option. I'm really concerned about the bishop on f4. It's too much. They're going to be a very exciting, thrilling game, I'm sure. So, fellas, I think I'm going to restart the stream on the mobile version. I think I'm going to be on TikTok. And that's that. It's not going to be a multi-destination, though, because there is no app I could use on the mobile stream to go multiple destinations. The Streamlabs is a complete disaster. I can't multi-stream on Streamlabs using the mobile. It's a disaster. Nothing works. So if it's the mobile, probably I'm gonna go on TikTok. Okie dokie. So fellas, I'm gonna be around. I'm gonna be watching this game with the greatest interest. And I am definitely going to see you guys over to TikTok, very likely the TikTok ones. Okie dokie, fellas. Take care of yourselves. See you in a bit on TikTok.